morning. Today on Blast into the Past, we will be exploring the Industrial Revolution and its effects on the labor movement in Europe. The Industrial Revolution was the transition from skilled workers in an agriculture-dependent nation to a nation more dependent on mass production, factory workers, and manufacturing. Systems such as the assembly line and inventions like the flying shuttle led to the development of factories and mass manufacturing. This eliminated the need for skilled laborers and people began to work in factories. These factories were beneficial to society in the sense that they greatly increased the production output, worker efficiency, and profitability of nations affected by the Industrial Revolution. On the contrary, this change in structure did in part negatively affect the laborers participating in this movement. In this broadcast, we will review all the impacts the Industrial Revolution had on the labor movement, both positive and negative. Now that we've had a brief overview, let's watch these archived interviews featuring labor pioneer Karl Marx and Prime Minister of Germany Otto von Bismarck.
Welcome. Mr. Marx, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. I was a philosopher, economist, historian, political theorist, sociologist, journalist, and revolutionary socialist. I was born in Trier to a middle-class family. Later, I studied political economy and Hegelian philosophy.
Mr. Marx, as a socialist, what were some of your beliefs?
As a socialist, I believe that the world would inevitably move towards a communist political and economic system through a series of social revolutions that would occur.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Welcome! Mr. Bismarck, please tell us about yourself.
I was the chief minister of Germany during the 19th century. I was instrumental in the unification of Germany, and I pursued conflicting interests in order to appease multiple groups.
As a governmental official, what were some of your key policies?
During my time in office, I extended universal male suffrage and passed legislation for worker, disability, and accident insurance. However, I was a controversial figure also because I restricted the activities of the Social Democratic Party, Europe's first political party based on working classes.
Thank you. So, as we can see from these two interviews, there were some conflicting views concerning labor and labor unions. However, the labor movement did yield favorable additions to the structure of industry, production, and society. Profitability for companies increased because costs of production decreased with new labor practices such as the assembly line and mass manufacturing, which was made possible by the influx of laborers. Other beneficial things that derived from the labor movement were created because of malpractice within this time period. Factory workers were often overworked since there was no regulation on their work schedule. As a result, the 8-hour workday was implemented by Parliament in England in 1833. Other regions followed, with Russia in 1917, Germany in 1918, and Spain and France in 1919. There were also regulations regarding child labor to minimize abuse and create a safer work environment. Now let's tune in to another archived interview featuring William Gladstone. Welcome, Mr. Gladstone. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Gladly. I was a British statesman of the Conservative Party, and I quickly joined the Liberal Party, and ultimately I became the Prime Minister of Britain during 3 different terms.
As a statesman, what were some of the key reforms you enacted during your political career?
Throughout my time in the political spotlight, I began to provide universal state-supported education, legalized labor unions in Britain, and helped enact the 1867 Reform Act. Sorry, I'm getting a little old. More working men were given the right to vote in this act that I enacted. That was way back when, though.
Thank you for your time.
Of course.
This is the Communist Manifesto, an 1848 political pamphlet by German philosophers Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. It is one of the most influential political documents as it presents an analytical approach to class struggle as well as the problems of capitalism and the future of communism.
As we previously mentioned, most of the positive effects of the labor movement were caused because of the disparities created by the system. More emphasis on production output rather than working conditions. Skilled workers and artisans of regions were displaced by machinery, which led to division and tension in the business market. Originally, there was a longer workday, but provided decreased efficiency and caused anger amongst the workers, which resulted in labor strikes. Additionally, because of the increase in urbanization, lower classes mainly workers lived in poor states. Additionally, because of the increase in urbanization, lower classes, mainly factory workers, lived in areas called slums. Health and sanitation standards were extremely low, and it caused disease outbreaks within these slums. Moreover, these factory jobs had little to no health care, and workers were significantly underpaid.
Thank you for watching A Blast from the Past. We hope you enjoyed this program.
Have a good night. See you.
And then I press this.
No, just the red one.
Oh, it's already recording?
Wait, is it on live screen?
Oh, it is recording.
Miss Ed, I'm
It's
sorry.
okay, leave it.
That's fine. You just start
Alright.
Quiet on set, boy.
Later, I studied political economy. Economy?
No, you gotta start the whole line over.
Later, I studied political economy. I see that word like that.
As a statesman, what were some of the key reforms?
Don't mess up.
So, as we can see from these two interviews, there were some conflicting. Thank you for watching A Blast from the Past.
Oh, is it blast from the past or into the
I don't know.
Blast from the
past.
3, 2.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, what did I do this time?
Nothing, I'm still laughing.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Even though I messed up 40 million times,